Okay. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to look at both of those equations. And remember, what are the two things that I need for elimination method to work? What do I need? Opposite sign, same digit. Good, Camila. Great recall there. So again, everybody, what do I need? Okay, everybody. Oh, now you guys are sitting in partners, so turn to your partner, the person next to you. Andrew, you can be partnered up with Justin and Greg, okay? So go ahead and turn to the person next to you and tell them the two requirements that you need for elimination method to work. Sit up, please. Okay? All right, so let's look at the first equation. Do I have same digit opposite sign for my x's or my y's? None, right? So I'm going to have to multiply one. I'm going to have to pick one. Can I turn 8 into 16? And can I turn 1 into 2? So I can pick one that I can want to eliminate. Which one do you guys want to eliminate? The x's or the y's? The y's. The y's, if we multiply it by 2, right? Or negative 2, it'll give us a 2. But then I have to multiply 16 by 2, and that's going to give me a bigger number, right? Can I multiply 8 by 2, and that's going to give me 16? And it's going to give me a big number here, but it's going to be a positive number. So let's try doing the bottom one, okay? Just because I think that when you look at what your answers are going to be when you multiply, it's going to change it. Now they're the same sign, so it has to be a negative, right? And we said 8 times 2 is 16. Right? So this is just like what we did last week. So I'm going to go ahead and move over my 16x, my minus 1y, I'm adding little Juan, and it's going to be equal to negative 10. And then when I do my multiplication here, negative 2 times 8x is going to give me that same digit opposite sign to eliminate my x's, right? Minus 16x. Negative 2 times a negative 2y is going to give me what? Positive. 2 times 2 is 4y. Bring down my equal. Negative 2 times a negative 20 is going to give me a positive, right? 2 times 20 is 40. Good. So now I can add these two together. We decided we were eliminating the x's, right? So I can just cross that out. Now what I have is a 4 minus 1. What's 4 minus 1? So I'm going to bring down my positive 3y. If I use column method, my 4 is my bigger number, so it would have ended up in the positive column. And here I have 40 minus 10, which is 30, right? So then I can divide both of these by 3, right? What does y equal? 10. Okay. Oops, I wrote 0. Silly me. So now I can pick one to put my y into. Looks like it might be easy to go into there. Does it matter which one you go into or substitute your number back into? No. You're going to get the same answer either way. This is just y, so I'm going to throw it into that one. 16x minus 10 equals minus 10. That's not going to divide evenly, is it? Oh, okay. I see what I'm doing. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add my 10 and add 10. No, it's going to work. So that leaves me with 16x is equal to 0, right? And when I divide both sides by 16, what does x equal? X equals 0. So my new ordered pairs is going to be 0, 10. That's right. I had a blonde moment for a minute. I'm good now. Sigh. It's all that cold water in my brain. Usually my showers are at night, but this morning I took a shower because I needed to wake up extra wake up for my weekend in my pajamas. Anybody else have a weekend in their pajamas?
I don't wear PJs. I wear my clothes.
All right. Okay, so this is exactly like what we've been doing, right? We only had to change 1. We only had to multiply 1 in order to get it to eliminate something, right? But let's go ahead and look at another one. Let's look at number 6. It's got some big numbers there. I've got a 9 and a 5, a 7 and a 5. I can't turn a 7 into a 5. I can't turn a 5 into a 9. So I'm going to have to look for that least common multiple. Which one do you think might have smaller numbers? The X's or the Y's? Let's try the Y's, okay? So I'm going to say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. That's 7 times 5, right? Let's try my 7. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. So it looks like 35 is going to be my smallest common multiplier, right? My least common multiple, which means that I'm going to have to multiply my top number, my top equation, by a 5, and my bottom equation by a 7. But wait a minute. They're both positive. So which one do I want to make negative? If I make this negative, then both of these become positive. So that might be less positives in this equation, right? Or less negatives. So let's go ahead and multiply it out. What is negative 5 times 5x? Negative 5 times 5. Negative 25, and then my x tags along. Now I have a negative 5 and a negative 7. That's going to be negative or positive? Positive. And we already said that it's going to be 35y. Now I have, but again, a negative 5 times a negative 5 is going to give me negative or positive? Positive what? 25. Okay? Move this over. But now I have to still multiply my bottom equation. And that's just that one extra step that you have to do this time. This time I might have to multiply both equations. Okay? So let's look at 7 times 9 is going to be what? 7 times 9 is what? 63x. And 7 times a negative 5 is going to be what?
35.
So it's going to be negative 35y, and that's going to help me eliminate my y's. And what is 7 times 29? That's a big number. I don't know it off the top of my head. I can use my calculator, or I can multiply it. It's going to be 203. 203. Okay, and remember we multiplied these so that we can eliminate our y's. And now I can solve this. I'm adding them together, but I have a negative and a positive. So I'm going to say 63 minus 25 is what? 38. 38x is going to be equal to 25 plus 203. That's going to be 228. Yes? So when I have to divide both sides by 38, right? So I'm going to take my calculator here, and I'm going to say 228 divided by 38, and it's going to equal 6. So now I know what x is. Can I pick one? Okay, so Isaiah says the top one, and I'm going to agree. It has more negatives, but look at the numbers. Are they much smaller? Yeah, they're much smaller. So your answers are going to be much smaller and easier to deal with, right? So I'm going to say x is now 6. So I'm going to rewrite my equation. 5, I'm substituting 6 for x in parentheses. Minus 7y equals negative 5. What is 6 times 5? 30. Minus 7y equals minus 5, right? I need to move this, right? How do I move this? 3 words?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Subtract 30 from both sides. I have a negative 7y. Make sure you pay attention to that negative sign and bring it down with you. It's going to equal negative 35, right? Then I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 7 to undo that negative. So y is equal to a negative divided by a negative becomes a positive. 35 divided by 7 is what? What is it?
Wait, 5.
5. So my answer for this equation is going to be 6, 5 in an ordered pair form. Right? So that's the only thing that's different, is we have to look to see that we're going to either multiply one equation or both equations. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have you take a look at, I don't want you to solve anything. I just want you to look at each equation. Okay, so let's look at number 2. Can I turn 7 into 14? Yes, so I'm only going to multiply this one, right? So I'm going to bracket it. What do I have to multiply 7 to get a positive 14? We have to multiply it by 2. Positive 2. Okay? Let's look at the next one. Let's look at number 3. Can I make 2 into a 4 or 1 into a 4? Can I multiply 2 by something to make it 4? What can I multiply it by? 2. So if I multiply my top line by 2, I can go ahead and get the answer that I need. Right? What? Is there a what? No, there's no backside. Look at number 4. Can I turn 4 into 8? Yes, it's already opposite side. What do I need to multiply 4 by? 2. Just 2, because it's already opposite side. Right? Let's look at number 5. Uh-oh. I can't multiply 3 by anything to make it 4. I can't multiply 5, so I have to multiply by each other, right? What numbers do you think we could use? 45 or 12? Which one do you think would be easier? Probably 12, right? And I don't think we can get anything lower than that if I'm looking at my ordered pairs, so I'm going to have to multiply top and bottom. I already have opposite sign, so I don't have to change my sign for when I'm multiplying. So I can multiply 4 times 3, that'll give me 12, right? And if I multiply 3 times negative 4, that'll give me a negative 12. So this one I do have to multiply my top and my bottom. Okay? Let's look at, we did 6, let's look at number 7. 8 and 9, 4 and 3. What do you think I could do? I'm going to have to multiply both, right? So I'm going to bracket my top and my bottom. And should I look at my x's or my y's? 12 or 72? Let's do 12, right? Already opposite signs. Makes it easier for us to choose. So you're going to multiply this times 4 and the top one by 3. Make sense? Does that make sense so far? Okay, so let's look at number 8. I can't do that, and I can't do that. Can I look for something smaller? 10, 20, 30. I'd have to multiply this by 10 and this by 3. 9 and 2. I have to multiply this by 2 and this by 9, right? I can't come up with anything smaller. Which one do you want to do, x or y's? but I'm definitely going to have to multiply both the top and the bottom, right? So which one? This one already has opposite signs, right? So maybe I just want to do 9 and 2 and multiply by their numbers. That way I don't have to change my signs. Make sense? Let's look at number 10. I've got 4 and 5 and 6 and 9. But you know what? 6 and 9, they're both multiples of 3, aren't they? So if I looked at 6 and 9, and I went 9, 18. Isn't 18 a multiple of 6? 6, 12, 18, right? So that means that I can multiply 9 times 2 to get 18, and negative 6 by 3 to get 18. Right? So I don't have to use 6 and 9. I can use 3 and 9. I just did it the opposite. I'm so sorry. No, that's right. That's 2. Should be 2. Sorry. Silly me. All right? So that gives you with 9, 11, and 12 that you have to figure out whether or not you're multiplying top and bottom and what numbers you're going to use to multiply. I've already set up the numbers for the other ones. We've done 2 together, and you have the rest of the period. Do you have any questions before I terminate recording? No? No more questions? You got us? You got a calculator? You guys ready to rock and roll? Hit it.